It's Thursday, November 4th, 2010. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
Impossible for a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carrot. Impossible for a plain country bumpkin and a prince to join in marriage. A slipper made of glass is just a shoe, and dreamers never make a dream come true. Impossible for a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carrot. Impossible for a plain country bumpkin and a prince to join in marriage. And four white mice will never be four white horses. Such folderol and fiddle-dee-dee of courses. Impossible. But the world is full of zanies and fools who don't believe in sensible rules and won't believe what sensible people say. And because these daft and dewy-eyed dopes keep building up impossible hopes, impossible things are happening every day. Impossible. 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 Impossible.
The Tennessee Titans are hoping that time and maturity, along with the notion of having something to prove, will motivate their newest wide receiver. The Tennessee Titans have claimed Randy Moss off waivers after passing on Moss in the 1998 draft in favor of Kevin Dyson because of character concerns. The Titans didn't want a second opportunity to secure the services of the mercurial wide receiver to slip through their hands. Titans head coach Jeff Fisher discussed the move on Wednesday night. Timing is everything, Fisher told the Associated Press. The quicker we get him on the field, the longer he's here, the more productive he'll be. We think he can help us, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run under the deep balls, Fisher said. Tennessee did not seem like a logical landing spot for Moss after he was placed on waivers by the Minnesota Vikings on Tuesday, following a less than impressive second stint with the franchise that lasted less than 3.5 weeks. Tennessee was 23rd in the waiver claiming system. However, they were the only team to put in a waiver claim for the wide receiver. In his 8 games this season, he has 22 catches for 313 yards and 5 touchdowns. During his 4-game return to the Twin Cities, Moss had 13 catches for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Vikings lost 3 of those 4 games to fall to 2-5 on the season. Everyone, at least for now, is excited about the addition of Moss in the Titans locker room. Before practice on Wednesday, both backup quarterback Kerry Collins, who spent a year with Moss with the Oakland Raiders, and running back Chris Johnson spoke to the media about what Moss will bring to the stable in Nashville.
You can't put 8 in the box if you got Randy Moss out there on the outside. If you got Randy Moss out there, you just can't play him one-on-one. So I feel like Randy will be a great addition to this team, be a great addition to our receiver group, and can help us out and really help us go deep in the playoffs.
The year I spent with Randy, I mean, I never had a problem with the guy. He was professional, respectful, was a team guy. I think a lot of the stuff that you see in here gets overblown. I mean, the guy speaks his mind. He's very 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 truthful with what he says, and it doesn't always play well, and but as far as the kind of guy he is and teammate, I mean, he was a great teammate, and never had a problem with it.
For the Titans, Moss is a relative bargain. He is owed $3.34 million for the remainder of the season, and he will hopefully step into the lineup to replace the injured Kenny Britt. He has 948 catches for 14,778 yards and 153 touchdowns throughout the course of his career. Tennessee's All-Pro cornerback Cortland Finnegan also spoke to ESPN's Cindy Brunson about the move to acquire Moss. Finnegan appeared fired up when he appeared on SportsCenter on Wednesday night.
Time now to welcome in Cortland Finnegan to SportsCenter. He's a defensive back with Randy Moss's new team. Cortland, your reaction when you first heard that Moss was acquired by your team today?
I was super excited. I jumped up and down and ran around like a kid. It was, having a chance to have someone of that caliber on your team and help the team. I'm really excited about it.
Well, you have 3 career touchdowns on your resume. You're welcoming a teammate with 153 on his. How excited do you think your quarterback, Vince Young, is going to be?
I think he's super excited. I think, Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator, is excited. I think, collectively as a group and a team, we're excited. That helps us, Johnson and that 8-man front. I think it helps us, and Randy's going to contribute a lot to what we have in the Titans organization.
You're looking up at the Colts in the AFC South currently. You're on the bye week. How long do you think it will take Randy Moss to acclimate with the Tennessee system?
Randy's a professional. I know he'll come in and learn the playbook, and he'll be learning on the go, but that'd be nothing he can't handle. Look, I'm excited. I'm giddy. He can stretch the field, and that's going to be big for us.
Are you giddy because you don't run the risk of facing him anymore?
Well, you got a good point. But he's got some coin token thing now. You get mossed if you get a ball caught over you, and so I like the fact you don't have to play against him, and he's on our team now.
All right. I know you had an opportunity to play against a former team of his in the preseason. As you got set to possibly face him, what scared you the most about what Moss could do?
His vertical threat. He can run your hamstrings off the bone, stretch the field, make everyone else on the team better. So I really look forward to having Randy Moss, brother Randy.
All right, we know he had an issue with some catering in Minnesota. How's the food in Nashville?
You know what? I'll cook for him. One time. I just think we'll take turns. No, I think we do a really good job. And, there's more to the story than that. But like I said, we're going to welcome Randy Moss with open arms, and we're really excited about having him on our team.
Moss's ability to stretch the field vertically will help the 5-3 Titans, who trail the AFC South leading Indianapolis Colts by half a game. The Titans haven't won a playoff game since January of 2004, and their lone Super Bowl appearance came in 2000 when they were a yard short of claiming a Super Bowl title against the St. Louis Rams. Jay Glazer and Trent Green of the NFL Network and Fox Sports discussed the impact they believe Moss will have on Britt, quarterback Vince Young, and the entire Titans team. They also reflect upon his time in New England and Minnesota.
Trent, you're a quarterback. Let's say coach calls you up and says, "Hey, Trent, guess what? We just got Randy Moss." How fast do you get yourself to the airport to pick him up?
Well, I think beforehand I have the car filled up and ready to roll, and then I get on the phone to my wife. I say, "Hey, listen, not only is Chris Johnson lined up behind me and he can run all over the field, but now you're giving me a vertical threat because Kenny Britt's hurt." So I think you get to the airport as fast as you can.
It's like, Julie, guess who's coming home for dinner tonight? Right?
That's right.
Randy, come on over for some barbecue.
We're gonna grill out. We're gonna have anything.
As long as it's not catered, you're fine.
That's right. We don't want to mess with the catering.
Is he right for Tennessee's offense? Obviously, Brad Childress didn't think he was right for Minnesota.
He is right for this offense because, first of all, Vince Young, he's leading the NFL in quarterback rating. A lot of people think Peyton Manning. Vince doesn't have nearly as many attempts as Peyton Manning does, but But Vince is leading the league. He's not turning the ball over. When you have Chris Johnson lined up behind you, the fact that he can run anywhere all over the field, Vince does a good job of moving outside the pocket, and really that works well with what Randy Moss does because Randy is a guy that likes to freelance a little bit. Everybody knows his time in Miami, his time in Oakland, time in New England. You'll see him throw his hand up. Not necessarily is that the route, but I got this guy beat. I'm going to throw my hand up. That falls right into Vince Young's lap.
You know where also I think this is a brilliant move by the Tennessee Titans is the fact that Randy Moss can now come in and tutor Kenny Britt. And people go, oh my gosh, you're going to have a bad guy like Randy Moss come in with a troubled kid like Kenny Britt. According to the players I talked to in Minnesota, they say he was amazing with Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin needs a guy, needs tutelage of somebody like Randy Moss. And say what you want about Randy Moss. The guy, everybody in the NFL who's ever played with him, every coach will tell you, football-wise, he's brilliant.
Well, and that's where the struggle comes in because from a locker room standpoint, you talk to the players in New England, you talk to the players in Minnesota, they loved Randy Moss. Mm-hmm. They thought he was a great guy to have around, great mentor. His genius IQ for football from a wide receiver standpoint, he can help those young players learn about coverages, learn about reading defenses. Now, where he causes all the headache is for the head coaches, for the front office, for management, for the caterers, like you mentioned, for the guys that really are controlling things. That's where he gives a lot of trouble to, and that's where the problems have come with him in the past. It's not the guys in the locker room on the team that he's dealing with.
It'd be interesting to see how much Randy has, I guess, woken up over this, because I think for the first time in Randy's life, he realized, you know what, something was my fault. I got myself out of New England, the greatest situation I could ever be in, and I'm gone because of me. Suddenly, it's not everybody else's fault.
Why, do you think he was realizing that when he was at the podium last week when he was in Minnesota? He was sitting there. It was like it was almost like self-help. He was standing up there. We were his therapist.
He was his own intervention.
Exactly. He was giving himself the questions, the answers, the whole thing. And I think that's really when it dawned on him is, I really made a mistake of getting myself run out of New England. He could have handled that situation much better. And I think now that he reflects on it, he understands he did that. This is another opportunity with a team that has a chance to make a big run in the playoffs, dealing with the head coach in Fisher that has that reputation of being a tough coach, requiring discipline out of his players, but is also a player's coach, and guys enjoy playing for him. They like playing for him.
Right, not just tough coach. One thing that Jeff Fisher has always done is he's given guys an awful lot of love, if you will, whether it's Pac-Man Jones, either in Albert Hainsworth. He's been able to control Albert Hainsworth. Let's see if he can control Randy Moss.
It's time for Randy Moss to stop the finger pointing and look directly in the mirror at himself. He was a good foot soldier in the locker room in both New England and Minnesota. He was popular with the players and instrumental in the development of Percy Harvin. With that being said, his relationship with the coaches and front office in both locations ultimately led to his dismissal. Now he's in a place in Tennessee where there's a system and structure in place, and he must respect the resume and pedigree of Jeff Fisher, one of the best coaches in the business. This is the final opportunity for Moss to resurrect his career and prove he's still a valuable commodity both on and off the field. Hopefully for him, he doesn't let this opportunity pass him by. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat reports.